Okay, 4.5. Consider appointment to the Public Library of Enid and Garfield County Board of Directors. We have 2 positions that are open. I will call each one up to speak like we had before. I will start with Linda Hinkle.
Okay, so to start with, to get rid of any confusion, it's Linda Sue Hinkle, and so some of you may be like, who's Susie, who's Linda? Same person, okay? So I'm Susie as well. So I want to first thank you for having given me the opportunity to already have served on the library board. And I'm here requesting that you extend the favor. I've been on the board for about 1.5 years, and in that time, first thing I do is I use the library. And mostly, you'll find if you check my books that I check out, they are probably 90% from the children's area. I have 2 grandchildren that I'm really like reading to, and so that's how I use the library the most. And my grandchildren love the children's area. It's probably our favorite area at the library.
I have applied for the library board again. In the last 2 years, the current board has sought to limit access to many literary works on the false premise of protecting our children and to match community values. They continue to do this more at every meeting. There is no balance to the current board, and they are using this group bias to further their personal beliefs.
I'm Jenny Shipley. Lived 60 of my 68 years in Enid, Oklahoma. I was born here. I went to school here. I've been a teacher at Enid High School for about 40 some odd years. I've retired, this will be 3 times. There's a teacher shortage and I keep going back, but that's okay because I love what I do. I would like to be a part of the library board because I believe the public library board should be a representative sample of the population of Enid.
I want to thank you for this opportunity. I've been a member of the Enid community since late 2014. I have worked with kids and my community since I was early teenage years. I just want to serve. I'm presently a member of the Enid Public Schools Board of Education. I understand the Open Meeting Act. I understand all the rules that go into being a member of a board and how to apply that appropriately. I see the library as one of our most vital resources in the county for literacy, for after-school programs, and I just want to do my absolute best to make sure that we have it for generations to come.
Good evening. I've used the library in many ways for many years. My children, of course, came and we checked out books and took them home, and then the next week came back and checked out more books and took them home. I have tutored in the library. I have I have given book reviews at the library. I have brought classes from Oklahoma Bible Academy to the library to do research.
Thank you. Jerry Allen.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Allen, 614 Deer Run. I would serve at your pleasure if you would consider voting for me tonight. I will work 3 years to try to help out what needs some help. So you give me direction, I'll be there. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to Let the People Decide. We're your hosts, Rarchar, and over to my left is Meow. I like that. Our show focuses on topics that impact the hearts, minds, and souls of citizens locally, nationally, and educate, to activate. And I like the way you said it earlier today or yesterday. You know, we are here to spread the information. You guys decide if you want to participate, but we want to educate and inform, and hopefully you patriots will activate and work with us. But before we get to that, you know, that stage here, we need to go ahead and thank our sponsors, the
Yes.
citysentinel.com, city-sentinel.com, and the patriotsentinel.com. We encourage everyone watching the show on Facebook, Rumble, to comment, like, and share. We've got, this is our second week. Second week, and the views and the comments we've gotten so far has been tremendous.
Yes.
So we need and depend on you guys to share our broadcast. This is the only show that's doing this in the state of Oklahoma, where we present both sides. We like to have that conversation, and you guys decide if it's something you want to get on board with, if it's something you want to advocate for. This is the whole reason why we're doing it. So.
Or not, and come back and tell us, so that we could have a good, honest, open communication.
That is what's missing today in discourse today. I don't mind having a conversation with somebody I don't like, okay?
That I don't agree with.
Okay, but we should respect each other's opinions.
That's it.
And lately, well, not lately, I think it's the norm nowadays that we can be tolerant, but there are those on the other side that are intolerant.
Well, and unfortunately, when you get into that intolerance, it seems like they can't protect their side or defend their thoughts. So you get called names: bigot, racist,
Terrorist, insurrectionist.
Yeah, some sort of white Christian nationalist. I don't even know exactly what that means.
Christo-fascist. I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
It does. And then they just kind of add alphabets onto the end of it just so people go, oh, no.
The only alphabet I'm worried about, that I care about, is USA. That is it.
Oh, that's a good one.
All these different subgroups, I think, to the USA, they're a distraction. But, let's go back to the city council in the city of Norman. We have an individual that will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance on council. And I would advise anybody in her camp, go to Arlington Cemetery. There are 400,000 reasons why you need to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, it is a First Amendment right to not stand up, but given city council is nonpartisan, sitting down or taking a knee is a partisan activity. And so the Pledge of Allegiance, 35 words, 35 seconds. It's meant to unite us. Yeah. It's meant to remind us that we're all Americans. And then you can be whatever you want afterwards here. And I think that's what's missing from the conversation, like our guest today, and the situation that's going on in Enid, Oklahoma, is that, in fact, nationwide, all right, they refuse to have a conversation with the other side. They refuse to I want to know why they want to sexually expose our children to the type of education and the stuff that we normally wouldn't have that conversation in our own homes. Well, so they feel the need to do this, but they can't explain why.
And here's my concern. People say, well, this isn't happening in Oklahoma, but we actually have someone who is in the Enid Library, who was working there, who opened up these discourse rooms, and who is having conversations unbeknownst to the parents about sexual activity or transsexuality. And the concern that I have is that this is becoming now a growing situation throughout Oklahoma and throughout the nation, where you have these teachers, and really what they are is they are activists. And they are in the school, they are in the library, they have these books, and they're fighting for this wrath, of rights. But what rights is it that are being taken away from you that you need to attack and what I would say abuse the child, who is unable to distinguish between whether you're really an authority for good or if you're doing something nefarious just for your own self-satisfaction. We have Neanne Clinton, a concerned citizen, with us today. Neanne, you are out there in Enid and you see what's going on. Do you mind just kind of sharing some of that story with us? What is happening and what my mother-in-law used to call a ring-tailed tutor of a story, because it's a hot mess.
It is a hot mess, and we've been doing the work here since June of 21. Obviously, the American Library Association snuck into our libraries long before 21. But in June of 21, one of our local moms walked into the library in Enid, America, and noticed that they had an LGBTQ Pride Month display in the forefront of the library, so any child that walked into the library could see this display. And they had inappropriate books on this display. One of them was the All Boys Aren't Blue. There's been lots of stuff put out about that book. It's very inappropriate for children. But this display was right there when you entered the library. So she complained to the city council, the city manager, the city mayor. She actually got a newspaper article and a TV article out of it, and nothing was done. And so since June of 21, we have been just trying to do what we can to make changes at the library. We had some wonderful people appointed to the library board. After that happened, concerned citizens wanted to get involved, and so they applied for the library board. They were appointed, and then in the charter and in state law, it states that the library policies have to be rewritten like every 4 years. So these library board members started rewriting policy to make our library safe for our children. They got rid of the inappropriate displays. They started they changed the book purchasing policy. They are making absolutely wonderful changes at our library. And at every turn, they are being attacked by the other side. Our city manager is attacking them, saying that what they are doing is unlawful. Our city council has expressed concern about what they're doing. They're going to get the city sued. Everything that they're doing is lawful. It follows Oklahoma Title 21. It follows Oklahoma's harmful to children law, and it follows federal law concerning libraries and what information you can provide to children. And so last night, do you want me to move into what happened last night, or do you want me to continue?
Yes.
Okay. So last night, 2 of the board positions were up for reappointment. One of the ladies who has been doing an amazing job on the library board put in to be reappointed by the city commissioners, and one chose not to be reappointed. So we had 2 positions. There were, I believe, 14 applicants. Several of them were from the LGBTQ community, because they are tired of the book banning and the censoring and not allowing children to have access to everything that they want access to. But one of the gentlemen that applied is a former city council member here in Enid. He lost his election in February to be reelected to the council, and he applied to be a board member. Well, this gentleman also, during the campaign season, because our family volunteers on campaigns, he called the children of the people that were helping his opponent. He stated on Facebook, "The red shirts are raising little Hitlers." So he labeled my children, my friends' children, children in the community, little Hitlers, because we disagree with what's going on the city council with the library board and the library board. Honestly, we reached out to the city council and let them know that. My husband spoke in person at the city council meeting last night to inform them that this man had labeled our children little Hitlers, and somebody who will speak about children in that manner should not be on a board that is tasked to protecting children. And the city council appointed him. They appointed him, right? They appointed him. So
To the
we
library
are,
board.
We're talking about Jerry Allen, correct?
yes, that's Jerry Allen. Yes.
And that was to the
And-
library board.
Yes, they appointed him to the library board because he lost his city council seat.
Gotcha.
So apparently the thinking of the city council is that they wanted to bring more balance onto the library board, that it was too one-sided and they needed balance so that everybody's represented. Well, my stance is in when it comes to protecting children from people that want to sexualize them, share pornography with them, there's no balance. There is a right and there is a wrong, and we are on the side of right.
Absolutely.
So here we are. So we're still fighting. We're not going to give up. There was no, I mean, you know, these are moral issues that we have to deal with. 90% of Garfield County is Republican. 90% of the people in this county would agree that sharing pornography with minor children, anybody under the age of 18, is abhorrent. It should not be allowed. It's not allowed by state law, but it's still happening in our library because they have not removed those materials. And our librarian has stated during one of the library meetings, which are all recorded and put on Facebook, that she would not restrict access to any material because of age.
Wow. Hey, you said 90% are Republican or conservative. How many people? How many people showed up with you? Did you guys go out and pack the room with conservative parents to say no, we don't want this? Was there a public? Was there a public comment on this?
Yes. Yeah. Well, there was public comment, but last night was a little bit more tame. In one of the March city council meetings, we packed the room to overflowing because the previous mayor and previous council had put the library board on the agenda to discuss the library board. And so they put it on the agenda. We packed the room. We had, I don't know how many speakers, 20 or 30 speakers. Not everybody that came spoke. And then they decided to take it off of the agenda and then move into an executive session to speak about the library board, which once again is questionable whether that meets the Open Meetings Act. And so we're still questioning whether or not that was a legal move for them to move into executive session to privately speak about the library board because they didn't want to do it in front of the citizens.
So, Neanne, let me ask you this. This happened last night. There were now 2 people who were elected to the library board. One of them, who is labeled children little Hitler, was the other one someone who felt the same way? And what was that reaction? Was there any pushback? Where can you go from here?
So Marcia Scott was also appointed last night. I do not know Marcia personally, and so I know some people that know her, but I don't know her personally. I honestly do not know what her background or her feelings toward this subject are. I do know what Jerry's are. He is absolutely pro-porn in the library, but I don't know what Marcia's are. So we're hoping that Marcia.
I know.
That's a T-shirt, Mo. I'm gonna steal that from you.
Yes, I know.
Sorry.
Well, you know, we have to speak the truth. You know,
Yes.
we have to speak the truth. So our prayer is that Marcia will do everything that she can to protect the children from these books and the obscenity that is in these books. I don't know if y'all looked in these books. I have, unfortunately.
I've seen some of the books in Norman. We had that whole library thing at Norman High School, and you know, I saw the book. The book was presented to me, and I had to speak out against it. And look,
Yeah,
pornography should not be in public libraries. Should not be in
in any
school
form.
libraries. That information should be at home. Let the
Yes,
parents teach that if you
decide.
choose to.
Right.
I disagree with the school board. I disagree with the library, but we have a conservative school board, and the book was taken out of the library. And that's an
Mm,
issue that Oklahomans and Americans nationwide are facing. I mean, this is not an Oklahoman issue. It's close to home because Enid is
yes,
close to us. But so what
right.
is your group doing? What is the next step for you guys?
Well, so speaking out, obviously, I mean, now that they've appointed these people, now we're just going to have to sit back and watch what they do. We record their votes and report them to people. I mean, I've had people messaging me and texting me all morning about how disappointed they are in what the city council did last night. And these people reached out to the city council beforehand, either through text or email or phone calls. Our city council received, lots of input from the community, but then decided to do what they did last night. So I have heard from very disappointed people. We have packed library board meetings. We've had 2 almost 3-hour library board meetings because of how many people show up and the work that they were doing on rewriting the policy. I think our longest one was almost 3 hours.
Wow.
And they used to take, like 30 to 45 minutes. But yeah, so we're gonna continue doing what we're doing, but we're gonna start speaking out. We have tried our best to make change from within and just having personal conversations with the commissioners and the mayor, and I guess they're not willing to listen to us. And so we're going to have to start speaking out. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak about it here, because we have no platform in Enid. In Enid, Oklahoma, we have a very liberal newspaper that is run by very liberal editors. The editor of the paper actually spoke last night on behalf of appointing somebody that is more balanced.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good news to hear.
Yeah.
Nan,
Well, no,
you
she
said
was on their side, Mick. Sorry.
oh, oh,
It might sound good.
oh,
No, but
they
she
were
was
looking for
really
somebody who's balanced
Balanced,
to bring
yeah.
in. When you say
on their
balanced, you mean someone who wants to bring in more
More.
LGBTQ. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I had that
Yeah.
switched around. I was like,
No, you're
balanced. Well,
good.
that, but see, here's the
No.
other thing. That's what they do too. They use the word balanced so that everybody goes, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
that cognitive manipulation of words, using that narrative to twist it so that you go, well, that sounds wonderful. No, it's really that they want more pornography in the schools.
Right.
Which I do have a question. You said you don't have a platform, and I know that we're getting ready to have to be done with our time, but you said you don't have a platform. Is there a group, Mothers for Liberty, or is there any other organizations, or is there somewhere where we could find you that we could say, hey, you're in Enid, let's join up with you?
Well, so a very good friend of mine is just starting our Moms for Liberty chapter here in
Awesome.
Enid.
Awesome.
And so, yes, so I can't wait to join. I told, I'm so happy that she's doing that because I'm busy doing the other stuff. And it takes a village, not to raise our children, but it takes a village to work together.
To fight back.
And
At least not what we want them to teach our children.
No, right.
Yeah,
35 years ago, it was a
Exactly.
different story. But so right
Yeah.
now, Moms for Liberty is forming up in Enid, but there's no place
Yes.
our guests can go see. Is there a Facebook page for you guys? Is there something that we can post to say, hey, if you want to help, if you want to show support, what are they? What can we do for you?
Well, they're welcome to reach out to me. We don't have any formed group. We just have concerned citizens that work together.
Okay.
We just contact each other and say, hey, this is going on. We need to do something about this.
Leanne,
So we're
what
kind
about
of
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What about the library meeting or the next city commissioner meeting? Do you know when that is? So that if somebody says, hey, I want to go
Yeah.
out there and see if I can support them, be part of the meeting, would you encourage that? Do you think that's good? Or do you think they're
sure.
going to say, well,
Oh, no.
people are on to us, we're going to stop talking about it?
Right? No, we need people at the library. I'm trying to find, I think our next library board meeting is July 10th. They only meet every 2 months. And so I believe it's Monday, July 10th, but I would have to confirm that. And our city council meeting meets the first and third Tuesday of the month. So we are there every city council meeting, taking notes and letting people know what happened. And if you read it in the paper, it's probably not what really happened, but you know, in the Enid paper, it's not what happened. We are so excited. We actually have an article in the Sentinel, and we are so excited to see that. It was amazing to get that put together.
Yes, I saw that. I read that by David Arnett.
We have it up on the screen now, and we'll post that to our podcast
Yep.
link
Thank
to as well.
you.
Yep.
Anything else we can do for you? This is a look. We'd like to have you back. We'd like to in
Yeah.
the next council meeting, the next
For sure.
library meeting here. I'd like to know
Okay.
what you guys said, and if possible, I'd like to go to Enid one of these
Why
nights
not?
and record this
Yeah.
and have that
I wanted to
conversation.
be there
So-
last night.
Yeah, come on up. Well, and here's one of the things. So here's one of the things that we talk about amongst ourselves, you know, because they do call us Christo-fascists. You know, you mentioned that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
We get labeled all kinds of things. They call our children little Hitlers. So, you know, we're used to the name calling. We're going to do what we do no matter what. But imagine the uprising if we had Christian librarians that were proselytizing and baptizing children in the library without their parents' knowledge.
Oh my goodness.
There was a post
you-
about that from somebody a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
I think I made that post.
Yeah.
How would they respond and react if
Yes.
Christian librarians and Christian teachers baptize
Oh,
children in the classrooms and not tell the parents?
there
They
would
would
be
lose their minds.
people would
Yeah.
have mind explosion everywhere. You could hear the explosion going off in Oklahoma City from Enid.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
so-
because we have stood in the gap and we are protecting our children, and they do not have access. They do not have the same access to the children that they had before.
Good.
These people are unhinged.
Yeah, that
I'm
is
afraid it's
insane.
gonna. Mick. I'm afraid it get worse before it gets better.
Oh, I do too. I think that this is definitely going to be a situation where we are going to see more and more and more pushback. And unfortunately, we see now that there's more and more people who are willing to get a little violent, but that is not us. We are on the side of legal and lawful.
Mhm.
Neanne, thank you so much. We really do need to have you back. And yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there in
Yes,
Enid
yeah.
to catch it on film.
That'll
Yeah.
be great. We would love to have you up here.
Hey, listen, anybody who's out there, if you want to get a hold of Neanne, if you want to become part of this group, would you comment in our Facebook or on Rumble? Would you just put comments in there? If you want Neanne to get a hold of you, we'll get a hold of Neanne and we'll get you guys connected. Even if they're not in Enid, somewhere else in Oklahoma, if you got this situation going on, let us know. We'll show up with the camera.
No, we
we'll
will
take a
show
photo.
up. You know, the one thing about grassroots movement and concerned parents and just everything that we're doing is that you will receive help from everyone in the state of Oklahoma.
Right
It just
on.
happens here. So again, you guys, if you want to help out, we'll put the link, Leanne's the number, or we'll get the information.
Let's go!